seen him before in my life.
Deny the vehicles. Take the money.
The film opened with a scene of 4 drug dealers busy behind a van in their headquarters, and they were seen preparing a shipment of drugs by cleverly hiding them inside a watermelon so they wouldn't be caught. On the other hand, a bit far away in front of the building, a sniper named Harper was observing. Shortly after, with one clean shot, he managed to end one of the guards. After that, his team of 3 people stormed the base, eliminating anyone who stood in their way. At that moment, the drug dealers who were loading the van inside heard a strange sound, but they thought it was nothing, so they didn't take it seriously. One of them then tried to contact the guard, but there was no answer, and in that moment, they finally realized the gravity of the situation. Suddenly, the lights went out, and the red emergency lights came on, causing immediate chaos as Harper's comrades stormed the hideout. A fierce gunfight ensued, and Harper's comrades quickly took control of the situation, leaving only one of the drug dealers alive. At this moment, it was revealed that the group was not led by Harper, but rather a man named Andy, a former Marine officer. He immediately confronted the last man while showing him a photo, demanding about the whereabouts of the person in that photo. It turns out that Andy's attack on the drug dealer's headquarters was to hunt down the person responsible for his daughter's death. Faced with the barrel of a gun, the frightened man finally gave Andy the information he desperately needed. At that moment, Andy also found a large pile of money and ordered his team to take it all. After that, they burned the place down. The story then flashes back to 9 days earlier. That morning, Andy was seen waking up in his remote house. He then went through his morning routine of showering, having breakfast, and going to work at the supplies store. But as he served the customers, his mind seemed to be wandering all over the place, making him often lose focus. Upon seeing his bad performance, his boss immediately reprimanded him for his unprofessionalism and warned him that if he didn't change his attitude, he could be fired. He also said that he would receive a pay cut for his bad service, to which Andy accepted, knowing there was nothing he could do about it. The next day, on his day off, Andy went to his weekly therapy session with a psychiatrist. During the session, he told the psychiatrist that he was feeling better, but memories of his traumatic past continued to haunt him. It was in this moment that Andy's past during the war, leading a 20-man unit in Afghanistan, was revealed. During their attack, unfortunately, they were overwhelmed by the enemies. A gunfight happened, and only 4 of them survived, including Andy himself. Thanks to that incident, Andy always felt guilty and suffered from it. Somewhere else, in a house, a young girl named Rachel was seen arguing with her mother, Elaine, who reminded her not to spend her time too much outside the house. However, Rachel stood her ground, saying that she was 18 years old and had the right to manage her own life because she was an adult. In the end, the mother gave in but still emphasized that she should always be careful when she was outside. Meanwhile, outside the house, Rachel's lover, a man named Cassius, was waiting for her in his car. As soon as Rachel got into his car, he told her that he would be gone for a week without his phone, which made Rachel very annoyed because she wouldn't be able to talk to him for that long. It was revealed that Cassius was working as a drug courier, and Rachel already knew about it. Shortly after, Cassius invited Rachel to come along to pick up the package that would be delivered the next day. The package turned out to have been arranged by his friend, Harry. That evening, after taking the package from Harry, Cassius went to his college friend Bruno's party with Rachel, but not long after, Harry called, demanding that the package be sent immediately. Knowing it was his job, Cassius decided to do it. Before leaving, he approached Rachel and told her he had to leave for a while. He also asked Bruno to look after Rachel. After Cassius left at the party, Bruno's female friends persuaded Rachel to try the new drug they had. Initially, Rachel refused to do it, especially because she had never tried it before and knew it was dangerous. However, she eventually gave in and tried it. Unfortunately, moments after consuming it, she suddenly experienced an overdose and tragically died. Her funeral was held the next day, and it was revealed that she was Andy's daughter. After the funeral, Andy was truly devastated, especially after his ex-wife approached him and told him about Rachel's final moments. He then went into Rachel's room to reminisce about her, and this is when he saw that Rachel's cell phone had just received a message from Cassius, asking her to meet at Harry's house. not knowing that she had died. In that moment, Andy noticed that his daughter's death was caused by these guys, who were part of the drug network, so he immediately prepared by taking a nail gun and set off to destroy the drug ring. Meanwhile, Cassius arrived at Harry's house to collect payment for his package. Here, Harry and Bruno finally delivered the bad news to Cassius that Rachel had died at the party from an overdose. Upon hearing that, Cassius was filled with anger and vented his emotions on Bruno, demanding an explanation from him as to why Rachel was given drugs even though she had never used them before. Bruno could only apologize and explain that he was out buying food when the incident occurred. Overcome by frustration, Cassius left Harry's house feeling disappointed and mad. At the same time Cassius left, Andy arrived, and he briefly passed the very person he was looking for. Then, as soon as he entered Harry's house, he wasted no time and immediately knocked out whoever was there. At one point, he managed to grab a gun from one of Harry's men and continued his way until he finally found the main room, where he quickly finished off Bruno, Cassius's college friend, and cornered Harry. He quickly asked Harry where Cassius was, and Harry revealed that Cassius had just left. Unfortunately, Andy was caught off guard, and Harry's last man caught him from behind. Seeing the opportunity, Harry immediately picked up the fallen gun and prepared to finish off Andy. But just before the trigger was pulled, someone came in and shot Harry and his lackey dead. The man turned out to be Smudge, who was Andy's former comrade during his military service. When Smudge drove Andy home, he asked how Andy ended up at Harry's hideout that evening. Andy then explained that he was looking for someone named Cassius, who had caused the death of his daughter and was determined to dismantle the entire drug network in the city. Andy then turned the question around and asked how Smudge was able to find him. Smudge then said that a few hours earlier, he had come to his house to express his condolences for Rachel's death, but Andy wasn't there. Instead, he found a note containing Harry's address, which then led him to the location to save him. Soon after, they finally arrived at Andy's house, and before Andy got out of the car, Smudge invited him to have a drink together the next night at a bar. The next night, Andy received a call from his ex-wife, Elaine, who asked if he still had Rachel's phone. Andy confirmed this and asked if she wanted to take it back, but she replied that she didn't care about the cell phone at all because what she wanted was for Andy to come home. Andy told her that he would return home after he finished his business, hoping they could rebuild their family. Shortly after, Andy headed to a bar to meet Smudge as promised. There, he also met Harper, his former military subordinate, who offered his condolences for Rachel's death and offered to help whenever Andy needed it. Shortly after, Smudge arrived with an old friend, and the four of them reminisced about their time in Afghanistan as the survivors of their unit. At that moment, Harper admitted that he was still haunted by a memory of war, a moment when he had to choose between ending the life of a child or risking the lives of his comrades. In the end, because the child kept getting closer, the situation forced him to make an impossible decision by neutralizing the child. After sharing stories from the past, they decided to play a casual bar game. However, Andy's quiet mood made the three former subordinates ask what he was thinking about. At that time, Andy finally revealed his mission to eradicate the circulation of narcotics in the city, which included bringing down Cassius. Upon hearing that, all three welcomed the opportunity to work again by his side. On the other hand, Cassius was seen sitting alone in a restaurant. He was being overcome with guilt because he felt that he was the reason his girlfriend died. He thought that if he had been by Rachel's side at that time, maybe she would still be alive. Knowing that, he decided that he had to apologize to Rachel's parents as soon as possible. However, a group of thugs suddenly came up to him. Cassius, however, didn't want to cause any more trouble for himself and decided not to deal with the men. He just left the bar in peace, but the four men followed him outside, stopped his way, and challenged him to a fight. Fortunately, just before the situation escalated, a car suddenly stopped, and a young woman appeared from inside with a gun in her hand, telling Cassius not to waste his time with people like that and to get inside the car. As they drove away, the woman expressed her condolences for Rachel's death, revealing that she actually knew what had happened. Cassius then asked why she had decided to help him, and the woman explained that she was sent by Cassius's father, who wanted to see him. Back to Andy, he was accompanied by Harper to buy a rifle that day. Before he got out of the car, Harper reminded him that the arms dealer had close ties to the drug lords of the eastern region of the city and told him to be careful. Not long after, Andy met the seller and handed over a large sum of cash to get a good gun. The seller then asked what Andy's purpose was in buying the weapons. Unexpectedly, Andy revealed his plan to attack the Eastern drug lords in order to eradicate the drug trade. The seller tried to stop Andy, saying it was a bad idea to deal with the network, but Andy wasn't going to back down, and he quickly left with his newly acquired rifle. After Andy left, the gun seller immediately tried to contact the Kingpin to inform him of the situation, but before the call could connect, Andy suddenly returned and attacked him. After pinning the man down, he demanded the location of the drug lord's headquarters. Having no other choice, the man finally gave him the information. Soon after, the arms dealer's lackey came from behind and tried to attack Andy, but he was quickly eliminated by Harper. Andy then gave Harper his knife and told him to finish the job, which was to end the arms dealer's life. On the other hand, Cassius and the woman stopped near a convenience store, intending to buy something to eat. But when she entered, someone with a gun followed her. Cassius immediately noticed the incoming danger and got out of the car, following the woman into the store to save her. Soon after, a shootout ensued inside the store, but luckily Cassius and the woman managed to escape without serious injuries, although the woman actually got injured on her leg. Unfortunately, before they could escape from there, they were ambushed and arrested by a group of men. Eventually, Cassius and the woman were taken to a mine and confronted by the gang of the Eastern drug lord. Soon after, the Kingpin himself showed up and explained why he did this. He explained that he caught the woman because she had infiltrated his factory and laced his merchandise, which resulted in the deaths of many customers, including Rachel herself. Upon hearing that, Cassius was shocked and demanded to know who ordered the woman to carry out such actions. The woman, cornered, finally revealed that she was following the order of Cassius's own father. Moments later, just as Cassius and the woman were about to be executed, they were suddenly attacked. One by one, the thugs were successfully paralyzed by the attackers, who were none other than the 4 former Marines, Andy and his 3 friends. During the chaos, Cassius took the opportunity to get into a van and escape. Seeing that, Andy, who was determined not to let Cassius escape, fired several shots at the vehicle, but his efforts were unsuccessful. The fight only left a single thug alive, and Harper approached him to ask about the biggest drug dealer in the area. The man, scared to life, begged to be spared, and revealed that a man named Lucian was the most powerful drug lord, and that his headquarters was on the edge of town. The scene then shifted to Cassius, who was now in a luxurious mansion. Shortly after, a bald man appeared to greet him, and it was revealed that the man was Lucian, a wealthy businessman who, shockingly, turned out to be Cassius's biological father. Apparently, Cassius had decided to leave his father's house for many years and lived a solitary life working as a courier for low-level dealers just to make ends meet. That night, Andy and his 3 friends arrived at Lucian's drug hideout, and as soon as they entered, they wasted no time and immediately began killing Lucian's men one by one, leaving only one. After that, Andy interrogated the man, asking him about Lucian's whereabouts and the location of his son, Cassius. Hoping to gain mercy, the man immediately gave out all the information he was asked. The next day, Lucian was informed about Andy's attack and then told Cassius about it. Upon hearing that, Cassius secretly felt happy about this because he did not agree with his father's drug trafficking activities. On the other hand, not wanting to stay silent on this, Lucian quickly sent all his remaining lackeys to finish off Andy. Somewhere else, Andy had just woken up in his house. After that, he immediately planned an attack on Lucian's mansion with his team that very night. However, he was interrupted by a phone call from Elaine. When Andy picked up, he heard his ex-wife sound very scared because a group of men was trying to kidnap her. Upon hearing that, he immediately realized that they must be Lucian's men who were trying to square up the score with him. Then, his house was suddenly attacked. Luckily, Andy's 3 friends arrived just in time to help. After taking care of the attackers, Andy and his team immediately got ready and set off to save his ex-wife. As they drove, several cars started chasing them, and a chase ensued. Andy's car was eventually forced to stop, and the enemy quickly approached them. However, Andy and his team had hidden themselves behind the vehicle and were ready for the fight. Thankfully, their ability as a former Marine helped them deal with the situation, and they quickly eliminated the enemies. Later, Andy found out that Elaine had been kidnapped by Lucian, and they must immediately rescue her. They then traced the whereabouts of Elaine to an abandoned building, but before they got there, they were ambushed from both sides by many of Lucian's men. Under intense fire, Andy ordered his 3 colleagues to take cover inside the building. However, it turned out to be a trap, as Lucian's troops had completely surrounded the building. With no other choice, the four of them scattered and finished off Lucian's men one by one. Soon after, Harper managed to corner the last enemy and nearly finished him off, but Andy stopped him because they needed the man to tell them where Lucian was hiding. Harper then asked the man about Elaine's whereabouts. Unfortunately, the man swore that he did not know and claimed that only Lucian knew the location. In the end, because of frustration, Harper finally killed the man anyway. That night, Lucian received news that his entire crew had been wiped out by Andy in just a short time. Fearing Andy was already on his way to find him, Lucian decided to flee abroad and intended to take Cassius with him. However, it was too late, because before they could leave, Andy and his friends had arrived and killed all the guards there. Shortly after, Andy approached Lucian's car. He quickly took out his gun and pointed it at Lucian. At that moment, he demanded to know where Elaine was. Cornered with a gun in front of his face, Lucian offered to tell Andy on the condition that Andy promised not to harm his son, Cassius. He explained that Cassius had very deep feelings for Rachel and never intended to hurt her, saying that her death wasn't because of him. In the end, Andy agreed to the terms, and after Lucian revealed the location, Andy executed him coldly. But true to his promise, Andy decided to leave Cassius and went away with his friends to save Elaine. A few days later, Andy gathered with his team, where he announced that he and Elaine had reconciled and were now living together. He also expressed his gratitude to his colleagues for their unwavering support. The four men then vowed to stay united and protect each other. But a surprising thing happened. Andy's three friends that he spoke to were just shadows from his past. These were nothing but his hallucinations caused by his acute trauma from the war in Afghanistan, which was made worse because of the loss of his daughter. In reality, his three friends had fallen on the battlefield, and Andy was the only one who truly survived. It was also revealed that when he destroyed the drug cartel, he did it all alone, without anyone's help. Although their presence seemed real to Andy, the world around him was actually quiet and empty. At that moment, Cassius suddenly appeared with a gun in his hand. Filled with revenge for his father's death, he then shot Andy and ran away from there. Shortly after, the medic arrived at the scene, but Andy's life could not be saved.